Today in this video, I'm going to show you how you can allow your onions to last longer. Even though onions can be eaten at any stage of growth, straight from the ground, but if you cure them, they'll last a little bit longer. In fact, up to a year. I'm not trying to allow these onions to last for a full year. It's just for another month or so while I finish eating some onions that I already have. But one of the things that you do want to do is you don't want to cut off the stems right away, although I did cut this down and I'm going to gradually cut it down. The actual roots were very long, and so I just gave them a little snip, like giving them a haircut. But you can allow your onions to grow longer by putting them in a place away from sunlight that's elevated so that they can get circulation under. And what I do is I normally turn them every day or so to make sure that each area is getting enough air to kind of like dry them out. But if you're wanting to store them for a longer period of time, it's basically the same process. And this is what I did last year with the mass amount of onions that I had. And so I was able to eat onions for 6 months. This is where I'm curing my last 4 onions under the microwave, out of the way of direct sunlight. You may have noticed that this onion was sitting over there and it didn't have the long tail like the other onion. It's because when I first picked this one, I cut off all the greenery because it just had so much, and I used it in a soup that I was making. And these two were actually picked a week before the second two. And the same thing kind of happened with them. I was making a saute and I used the green onions. So I was able to eat the greenage and I still have the red onion bulb. Months. I actually had a box and this is like a broiler rack. And so they're elevated. They have the little legs on it so they're not sitting flat. It may look like it's flat here, but it actually isn't. But you can put something that's elevated. You'll need the right size box depending on your rack. But this is just a little rack that has some legs on it. And you'll want to make sure that they are in a single row. You just put them in the box and make sure they're not touching. Close it up and put it in a dry, cool place. And that's how you make your onions last longer and get the most out of your yield, and then have onions for months versus a few days or a week. Thank you for viewing, and I'll see you next time.